Capital Region of New York for this MAAC semifinal, and we are underway with the ball going out of bounds. Mike Kitts, our lead official, says Rider basketball. So the team in Cranberry will start with a basketball to begin things here tonight.
Two good teams. How about the officiating crew? That could be a Final Four crew out on the floor.
No question about that. Pat Driscoll, John Cal, Mike Kitts. Hard to pick a lead official actually out of that crew. Here is Jermaine Jackson with Mike Ringgold. Guarded by Garrison. Ringgold clearly is going to go right to the basket. He misfires. Egamonye and Ben battle each other and lose it out of bounds, so Ryder will have it. Our coaching matchup brought to you by Anaconda Sports, home of the Rock, and Tommy Dempsey says, quote, Siena and Niagara aren't the only ones who can win the MAAC. He said that earlier in the week before the tournament got underway, trying to prove that here tonight and tomorrow. Is Bronx with 6 seconds to shoot. Ringgold rejected by Egamonye. And the big fella, all 6'9", a senior, making a big statement inside. There's Joe Mihalik, the dean of MAAC coaches. Twice in the last 4 years, he has taken his team to the NCAA tournament. And here on the opening possession, his team forces a shot clock violation.
Forces the turnover with their defense, and that's one of the keys for this Niagara team all season long. We've been talking about it. They guard much better than the recent Niagara Purple Eagle teams.
At the point, Anthony Nelson, a 6'1" sophomore from Plainfield, New Jersey. Very interchangeable around the backcourt and around the perimeter. Tyrone Lewis, 2 years ago as the freshman, was the MAAC Tournament Player of the Year, but he misses badly on his first shot attempt.
And he struggled last night, was 3 of 10 from beyond the three-point line, and was just 4 of 15 from the field yesterday.
And he finished with 13 points. That's well below his career tournament average. He right now is defending Ryan Thompson, and that's a good 7-8 inches difference on the low post if you're Ryder.
And what happens with Niagara out of their man-to-man defense, they'll switch out on the perimeter, so you get some different mismatches.
Harris Mansell misses, and no surprise, Bilal Ben grabs the rebound for the Purple Eagles. Here is Ben, averaging about 14 points and 9 rebounds per. He comes up with a miss on his first field goal attempt.
Here's where Thompson's at his best.
Up fake to get away from Egamonye, and the foul called will send Ryan Thompson to the line to shoot 2.
He spent a lot of time last night at the line talking about being at your best. He had 30 points in that quarterfinal win against St. Peter's. A very effective 10 of 13 from the field, and got to himself to the foul line 12 times by doing just that. Out on the break, putting the ball to the floor, and getting into the paint.
And you know, if you take away his 2 missed 3-pointers, he was 10 for 11 on 2s, and because, like you say, most of those were going right to the basket.
It was a great job out in transition for Tommy Dempsey, stepping by that defender. How many times do we see that side step? He gets by, and as he slides, he gets a little hip contact, but doesn't bother him. He's got the strength and size to finish.
Yeah, and we talk about the defenders and the ability to turn people over from Niagara's perspective. Thompson, much the same. He had 4 steals in the quarterfinals yesterday and averages 1.7 per game. Bilal Ben with the offensive rebound, misses the putback. Lewis, the Mighty Mite, goes right into the big boys and misses. And then we've got a whistle and a foul before the leak out.
Ryder was in their zone defense. Expect them to play a little bit more zone tonight than they regularly play. Throughout the season, they mix and match between man and zone. Usually it's about 60 to 70% man, maybe the other way as far as a lot more zone tonight.
Garrison denied by Jermaine Jackson, and the Bronx with the 1-0 lead. Trying to add to it. Egamonye picks up the foul. That's the way you want to attack a shot blocker. Go right at him, right, Rob?
Right to his chest. If you bring it right into him, he doesn't have time to react. Remember his first block, it was from the weak side. The help side defense coming over to deny it. If you go right to his chest, you put him in trouble.
Justin Robinson at the line. His season began with knee surgery back on November 5th. And he didn't return for a couple of weeks, just arthroscopic surgery. And since that time, he has become a solid part of the backcourt for Ryder, averaging over 10 points per game. And he knocks down a couple of free throws. Still looking for our first field goal. Combined, the two teams 0 for 9. Someone take the lid off on both ends of the floor.
Well, we were talking about all that great offense, and what happens? You jinxed them.
Either that or you or I, pretty good defenders. 10 to shoot. Garrison can't take the seal off. Good defense by Jackson. Ben finally scores for Niagara on the putback.
Well, he talked about it. In our keys, you got to keep them off the offensive glass.
Bilal Benz, a 6'5" junior from Philadelphia. As mentioned, the 9 rebounds per game, the real eye-opening stat on his stat line, best in the conference.
And over 3.5 offensive rebounds per game, so he's really active once the ball goes up.
Ringgold, little runner, goes in.
What happens, guys play off him because he can't shoot the basketball, but he has the uncanny ability of bringing the ball right to you and scoring.
Ben, way off the mark. Thompson has it knocked away from behind by Tyrone Lewis. And it's Rider basketball after Lewis was the last to touch.
Bronx have to finish off those defensive possessions.
We'll get our first substitution, and it's Novar Gatson for the Bronx checking in and taking out fellow freshman Jermaine Jackson. Gatson had a very active quarterfinal, 14 rebounds along with 9 points. He struggled from the floor, missing 10 of his 14 shots, but he was active. He was all over the place.
Active right there.
Not going to get an assist. Yeah. Fortunate not to get a turnover. Ringgold with another 2.
He's got a knack for being in the right place at the right time. He is always around the basketball and seems to always get a hand on it.
Tyrone Lewis this time with an open look, and he buries it.
Open look against the zone, the extra pass, and stepped right in.
Nearly 4 minutes gone in our second MAAC semifinal. Gatson strong to the bucket.
And there's the activity you were talking about. He's a guy that's playing with great confidence right now. One of the finalists and candidate as a MAAC Rookie of the Year, and certainly you could have made a case for him to win that award.
Foul call. Folks from Rider would have loved to have seen a traveling violation, but it is a personal foul as we head to break. 15:49 remaining first half. Novar Gatson, one of the best rookies in the league, going strong to the 10. That's Dolores Mihalik, the mom of Niagara head coach Joe Mihalik. She won't have to worry about tickets for tomorrow night's MAAC championship game. She's got good seats. If you don't have your tickets yet, though, it's not too late. Tomorrow night here at the Times Union Center in Albany, you can get your tickets now by calling 1-800-30-EVENT or by logging on to timesunion.com. MAAC Madness, the tradition continues. Coach Sherman, Ron Kennedy with you for the second semifinal. The winner of this one takes on Siena tomorrow night in that championship game. The Saints disposing of Fairfield in the first semi. Bilal Ben leaves his feet on the pass as it knocked out of bounds.
And when you leave your feet, you got to make sure that you're going to shoot the basketball. He left his feet and then tried to decide what he was going to do.
We get a first look at Brandon Penn, number 31 for Rider. Camus Gordon has also come in, replacing Agamonye inside for Niagara. How about the move by Anthony Nelson?
Great hesitation, stands the defense up, and able to turn the corner and finish.
Down at this end, Rob, Rider has cleaned things up a bit after missing their first 3 shots from the floor. They have made their last 3. Let's see if they can make it 4 in a row. They can't. Ryan Thompson crashing from the weak side, and Rider will keep possession after the miss by Penn.
And nice cross-court pass there by Gatson. You forget at times he's 6'7". He's got good size and strength. Able to get it out of that double team.
Well, his coach, Tommy Dempsey, likened him to Ryan Thompson in that he is a big guard with certain guard skills. And if you think about Ryan Thompson a couple of years ago, he as a freshman was not at the point. And not that Gatson will ever wind up as a point guard, but he certainly has some pretty good skills for the perimeter.
Well, their team has terrific perimeter skills. So all that time, Robinson, who played the point all of last year, very comfortable now in the 2-guard spot.
Here he comes with the ball in his hands. Justin Robinson pulls the trigger, a little strong. Gordon clears for the Purple Eagles.
But that's his strength, his speed in the open floor.
Nelson, speed for speed, fouled by Penn.
Anthony Nelson, a guy who didn't find himself on a postseason team, and when you look at his numbers, you have to at times wonder why. He does a great job running this offense on the season, averaging over 5 assists per game. And inside the MAAC, he's averaging 6.4. That's tops in the league. Distributing, especially as of late. How about 87 assists to just 20 turnovers in his last 12 games?
Although if we figured out how Ronald Moore's averages jumped after he had 14 assists in the first game. But either way, yeah, the numbers are staggering over his last 12 games, 87 and 20 assist to turnover.
And both these guys, you can draw a lot of similarities between Anthony Nelson and Ronald Moore.
Yeah.
Two guys as sophomores that people really maybe didn't appreciate how important they were to their team, except for their coaches. Much like we always see Fran McCaffrey telling you how important Ronald Moore is, Joe Mihalik does the same in singing the praises of Anthony Nelson.
And it's easy to be overshadowed when you're on a team of stars and bigger scorers when you're the distributor. And certainly in the backcourt, both of those point guards you talk about have big scoring complements on either wing. Thompson with a wild shot. Demetrius Williamson into the game for Niagara, gets the rebound.
He was looking for the contact, thought he was bumped.
Matt Griffin into the game now for Ryder. Lewis misses. Ben clearly has the advantage there. No way Griffin can seal him out.
And as soon as he gave up the basketball, how smart a play by Bilal Ben to dive into the post. He didn't get it on the post up, but he did get it on the offensive board.
Penn misfires from 3 again. Thompson for 3. It's off the mark. Griffin able to save it. Thompson's runner off the mark. The tip, finally. Their 5th attempt. Gadsden gets it to go.
And there's that energy and activity from Gadsden.
Big left-hander now with 4 points. It's a 14-11 Ryder advantage. Gordon mishandles the pass. He and Robinson went after it. Well, Joe Mihalik, in his 11th year as head coach at Niagara, really has it going, and this is not an aberration. This program has been flying for the last decade.
Well, they're hot, winning 11 out of 12, and how about 14 wins away from home, the most in college basketball this year, and also doing it defensively with over 10 steals per game.
I like the idea that the 25 wins are the most for a Niagara team since back in 1921-22. That team won 27 games, and Niagara right now at 25-7, having won 11 of its last 12, and the only loss that the Purple Eagles have suffered during that stretch to Ryder, their opponent here tonight.
And in that game, they got down big. They were down 18 in the second half, able to fight their way all the way back into the ball game until Harris Mansell had the heroics with his 3 with just 6 seconds left to get the win.
Novar Gadsden out of the ball game with the 2 personal fouls. Mike Ringgold has come back in. There's Bilal Ben just putting on the hard hat, going to work still. Matt Griffin scrapping as well. And Benson Egamonye was the last to touch, apparently. And so Griffin winds up getting the better of that matchup.
But right now, Niagara just crushing them on the offensive glass. Just as they did the 2 times these teams met in the regular season when they averaged 19.5 offensive rebounds. That's just too many extra opportunities.
Matt Griffin with an air ball.
And not a good decision from the heady point guard. That is not the shot they're looking for.
There's a good look at Tyrone Lewis. And sometimes you wonder, we talk about the 4 guards, and Ben is more of a combo, but for them to be so proficient on the glass, especially at the offensive end, when more often than not you've got 3 or 4 guards on the floor, really speaks to how hard they work.
And if you're going to play 4 guards, you have to have somebody that can defend in the post and rebound the basketball. That was certainly the key all season long for Niagara.
And Egamonye has been a big key to allow them to play the way they do. Ben off the mark. No second opportunity this time as Mike Ringgold clears the defensive glass. Nearly 8 minutes into our second semifinal. Ryan Thompson takes off, can't finish. Egamonye clears.
Boy, when he turned that corner, was he going with the head of steam.
14-11 Ryder. Niagara with the basketball. Passing away from the trap, finds Williamson wide open, and he hits.
And it all started with the back dribble by Anthony Nelson to create space, not allow the double to come tight. Smart play to get it out of there.
And Williamson had a good performance in the quarters last night. 3 of 7 beyond the arc, 12 points off the bench. And he's got his first points here in the semifinals for Joe Mihalik's Purple Eagles. We're tied at 14. Welcome back to the Citizens Bank MAAC Championships presented by Pepsi Max, all tied at 14. MAAC Championship winners we'd like to salute, including the men's and women's cross-country teams from Iona College. And let's not forget about the champs from earlier here in this building this afternoon, the women from Marist College. Cut down the nets again. And get your tickets now for the MAAC Baseball Championships at Waterfront Park in Trenton, New Jersey, May 21st through the 23rd. To buy tickets, call 609-394-3300 or go to MAACsports.com for more information. Ryan Thompson, Harris Mansell, defended well by Bilal Ben. Couldn't get off the shot. Off of the set play from the inbound. Patrick Harris just into the ball game, or rather Patrick Mansell misfires. Niagara basketball.
You see Ringgold touches the basketball into post. Niagara sending that second defender to try and force it out of his hands with the double team.
Well, we talked about Ronald Moore having so many assists so early in the first semifinal. How about Bilal Ben already with 6 offensive rebounds? Now, part of that is that he's not shooting very well. Getting his own miss. He's 2 for 10 from the floor, but 6 offensive rebounds is, well, he's working hard, let's say that.
Well, that's what he does. He gives great energy.
Williamson misses this time. Thompson pass to Patrick Mansell. Ringgold banks it in.
Same thing again. He starts with space because nobody guards him when he's 10 feet from the basket because he can't shoot it. But he drives it right into the chest. What you were talking about before, the uncanny ability to get there and get there quickly.
Ryder on top, 16-14 on the Ringgold bucket. And he now has 6 points. Rob Garrison back into the game, gets it to Egamonye. He had it knocked away by Jackson. Harris Mansell has it knocked away by Tyrone Lewis, who leads the league in steals. There's another, and he will shoot 2. He is a record holder, already has the single season record in Niagara history for steals per game, and he is among the national leaders.
You can see why. He's got great instincts. How about the quick hand to poke it away and then the speed to go track it down? And he's got the ability to finish with the best of them out on the break.
Well, he has an uncle, John Lewis, who played a little NFL ball, played a little football in the NFL. And you clearly could see the athletic skill set that Tyrone has, that if he was maybe a little bit bigger, he certainly could be an outstanding defensive back.
Well, he's got those instincts to close on the ball quickly.
Yep.
But you also see it's his on-the-ball defense as well. A lot of guys come up with steals when they're off the ball, on the weak side. He gets a lot of them with his ball-hawking ability defending the dribbler.
And if you're Harris Mansell, you really need to covet the basketball and be aware of it. He didn't protect it enough on that last trip. Patrick Mansell, tough pass. Jackson winds up with it. Strong to the basket. No, the tip is good by Ringgold. That's 8 points now for the 6'7" sophomore.
And he was a little flat yesterday early on in the ball game, but when the game was on the line against St. Peter's, he brought the energy late in that ball game. One of the reasons why he ended up with double-figure rebounds.
Pat Driscoll, the official, felt it was a flop. No call. Egamonye with the easy layup. First bucket for the senior from Nigeria, who averages 12.5 points per game.
Neither team really shooting the ball very well here in the early going.
Ryder catches a break as Nelson deflected it on its way out of bounds.
And when you look at the 2 stars for Joe Mahalik, they're not shooting the ball. Just a combined 3 of 14, which is basically what they did last night against St. Peter's when they struggled for a combined 7 of 25, but in that game, it didn't matter. In
this game, you figure it's going to matter. Garrison nearly comes up with a steal. Instead, he knocked it out of bounds. Rider basketball with 14 to shoot.
On that game against Marist, they survived despite the fact their big two really didn't get it going because of the X factor and Rob Garrison, who right from the start set the tone with his scoring very early in that first half.
Yep, Garrison went for 21 last night. The UConn transfer. Megamonier also played big in the ball game, 11 points and 9 rebounds. Jump ball, the possession arrow will head the other way. Well, Tommy Dempsey's Rider Broncs have a record of 19 and 11. They have won their last 5, and as you see, 8 of their last 9.
Included in those 8 wins was a win against these Niagara Purple Eagles, as well as a win against Siena. So Tommy Dempsey's team, they've beaten everybody in the league, and certainly that gives you a lot of confidence coming in that you can win a MAAC championship.
And they've got the full support of the folks back in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. We understand that when they returned late last night to the Crown Plaza Hotel, just a few blocks from here, an impromptu pep rally broke out with the cheerleaders and a number of the fans. And again, this was at about 1 o'clock this morning. And so the Rider players certainly reveled in that and trying to feed off that energy still here tonight. Ryan Thompson, the point guard at 6'6", hands off, Mansell. No good. He is a three-point specialist. Gadsden gives to Jackson, being unselfish. The tip in good.
A good interior passing. Gadsden staying with it. Both he and Ringgold, I think, got a hand on that one.
And it looks like they have given credit to Thompson. We're here in Albany, New York at the Times Union Center. Doug Sherman, Rob Kennedy, as we wind down the semifinal Sunday action. Siena won the opener. Niagara and Rider here in a tight ball game in the nightcap. Anthony Nelson made the all-rookie team in the MAAC a year ago. Last year, one of his big performances was the victory over St. John's. We've talked about his want to have few turnovers in that game against the Johnnies. 12 points, 4 assists, 5 steals, no turnovers. So it didn't just start this year. He has been protecting the basketball both years in college.
And how about his last game against Rider? 11 assists, no turnover.
Yep.
And he's aggressive. Sometimes when guys don't turn it over, they're conservative and don't really push the pace and try to thread the knee. No, he's aggressive, especially out on the break. But he's a terrific passer.
And he also has terrific targets to pass to. All sorts of options for these Purple Eagles. Ringgold backing down. Kashif Edwards into the game for Niagara with his post defense. And then the strong rebound to keep Ringgold off the glass.
Well, Edwards is a guy that brings energy.
Garrison somehow gets it up and over the front of the rim, 4-2. This is Niagara's first lead of the ball game at 22-20. Foul called on the rebound, and that will send us to break. Joe Mihalik with plenty to smile about, his club on top for the first time here in semifinal number 2. The Purple Eagles 22 and the Broncs 20. Rob Garrison, the hero last night, starting to heat up tonight.
For in a college, cutting-edge academic programs, a faculty that's second to none, great recreational opportunities and residence halls? How about a college that will provide you with the education you need to become a leader in your profession and in your community? If that's what you're looking for in a college, you'll find it at Canisius. To learn more about Canisius College, call 1-800-843-1517 or visit us on the web at canisius.edu. Canisius College, where leaders are made.
We're back in Albany, and welcome back to the Citizens Bank MAAC Championships presented by Pepsi Max. Niagara with its first lead of the night. The MAAC and Rider University are proud to serve as hosts of the 2009 NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship Trenton Regional, March 29th and 31st in Trenton, New Jersey at Sovereign Bank Arena. For ticket information, call 609-656-3224 or visit the website sovereignbankarena.com. And Demetrius Williamson at the line. A 6'6" junior from Chicago, Illinois. Attended Whitney Young Magnet School. And he is one of the more valuable reserves in the conference. He clearly was under consideration for the Sixth Man of the Year award that went to Siena's Clarence Jackson. He gets 1 out of 2 from the line there. Take a look on StatTrack. Well, let's get off of that first one. We don't want to see field goals just yet. Offensive rebounds both good.
Gotta like the energy. Execution hasn't necessarily been there offensively.
Justin Robinson back into the game for Ryder at the point. Novar Gadsden with the dribble now. Lost the dribble, so he decides to shoot. Another offensive rebound, number 10 for Ryder. It goes to Ryan Thompson. Robinson got himself into the paint. Once again, another offensive rebound. And a foul called against Niagara as Mike Ringgold went to the deck.
He's brought the energy today. Yesterday's game, he was flat early on and just didn't have the same kind of bounce that you usually see from Mike Ringgold. That's not been the case here in the early going today.
Ringgold posting on Edwards. Instead, Robinson fires away and buries the three.
But the space is there because Nelson's guarding him, trying to make sure he doesn't throw it into the post to Ringgold. That allows Robinson the extra space to get it off.
Off the turnover, here come the Bronx. Ryan Thompson again with that long stride and finish.
And he steps right through, steps by defenders, and then able to elevate over top.
The 6'6" junior from Mount Laurel, New Jersey, coming off a career-high 30 points on 10 of 13 shooting last night. He's got 5 so far tonight.
And a lot of those 10 field goals last night were just like that. Striding out on the break, sliding by a defender, and finishing at the rim.
Ben, cross-court pass to the corner. Here's Edwards. Lost it. Quickly ahead Ringgold, and he does not miss from there. 10 points for the 6'7" sophomore.
And the Bronx are galloping on a 7-0 run right now, and Robinson, the guy that's leading the way.
The Bronx to retake the lead by 4 under 6 minutes remaining in the half. Nelson this time doesn't dish off, finds himself an open lane and lays it in. That snaps the 7-0 burst. Robinson, another three.
Well, sharing the basketball. Harris Mansell came off and couldn't make a clean catch to fire off the three. Instead of forcing it, gave it right back to Robinson. Robinson, a perfect 3 for 3 from behind the line.
5:15 to go first half. Kashif Edwards, Rob Garrison, Demetrius Williamson, Anthony Nelson, and Bilal Ben now with the basketball for Niagara. He takes a 22-foot shot and swishes it home.
Well, those field goal percentage numbers starting to creep up as both teams getting hot here for a stretch.
And with that three, it's back to a 2-point ball game as timeout is called. Now, Rob, you have been right on the money about the energy Mike Ringgold has been bringing tonight that was lacking early last night.
And you see, once again, guys don't guard him, so what's he do? He puts the ball to the floor and gets right at you. And what he does is he gets there so quickly. His active hands, right place at the right time on the offensive boards. He's got a high basketball IQ and a high energy level. Some guys have a knack for being around the ball. Ringgold is always around the basketball.
Mike Ringgold, and you can see there for a moment through the crowd, averaging over 11 points and 6.5 rebounds per game. His career high came back in December against Rutgers when he scored 22 points against his in-state rival, and he looks like he could take a rest. Well, when you work as hard as he has for the first 15 minutes of the ball game, you get a chance to take a breather. Well, we saw some of the folks from Western New York yesterday from Canisius having fun. The folks from Niagara clearly celebrating the signing of Terrell Owens by the Buffalo Bills with that mania you can see in their eyes.
North America's team, is that what he said?
Yeah, we got to give T.O. a geography lesson. America's team is Dallas, but Dallas is also in North America. Lewis with the rebound.
See his leaping ability as he's able to go over top of everybody.
Lewis back the other end, misfires. How about the one-hand rebound and the terrific no-look to Lewis. Blocked by Jackson. It'll be Niagara ball.
Oh, great look. And those are the plays that you usually think that Tyrone Lewis is going to finish, maybe with the dunk to flush it. But Lewis's first three was a settled three, guarded. Got to be able to find better shots than that.
Well, when you look at Tommy Dempsey's roster for Ryder, Jackson and Gadsden don't jump off the page first, but they have brought an athletic ability and a size and a length this year that while you had Jason Thompson last year, now you've got two bookends, both 6'7", long, and can defend and get after the glass like we've seen here tonight.
And both guys, as freshmen, they're going to develop. And certainly right now, Gadsden much further ahead, his game much more polished, but Jackson's got some tools.
This time, Nelson able to get to the rim and lay it in.
Well, he's been able to turn the corner and finish at the rim. 3 of 4 from the field, all 3 of those on layups.
Tied again, 30 apiece, under 4 minutes remaining first half. Harris Mansell denied by Lewis. A young man at 5'10", had 8 block shots in a single game earlier this year. And as you've talked about, Rob, a couple of those were on shots just like that. 3-pointers where he comes out and just rejects you.
Oh, he's a great athlete.
Austin Coolino, Bilal Ben, another offensive rebound. And Nelson now will attack a different way. Egamonye posting up Jackson inside.
And Nelson trying to post up inside as well.
Nice little step through for 2 more. 7-0 Niagara run. Now to answer back and retake the lead at 32-30. Egamonye standing tall.
High stepping after coming up with that rebound.
Nelson,
nice.
Another assist, and Ben doesn't miss that time. Purple Eagles just continue to push it.
That's why you got to get back in the transition defense. Ryder with a bad shot at one end leads to an easy shot at the other.
Robinson well short. Ben the defensive rebound.
Got to be careful with those quick shots because what it does is it gets Niagara going.
Jackson's going to pick up the foul. After the big fella, Egamonye runs the floor and gets rewarded for it. Joe Mihalik's club again heads to break with the momentum. They're on top 34-30. Back at the Times Union Center, Niagara on a 9-0 run to retake the lead at the Citizens Bank MAAC Championships presented by Pepsi Max. Upcoming MAAC Championships include men's and women's rowing in Mercer Lake, New Jersey, April 19th, and men's and women's outdoor track at Rider University, May 2nd and 3rd. We've got our men's basketball championship coming up tomorrow night. The Siena Saints are the top-seeded team. And awaiting the winner of this semifinal between Niagara and Ryder, Benson Egamonye, at the free throw line for the Purple Eagles. Egamonye has not seen his family back in Africa in 5 years. And depending on where you are from in Africa, it's not so easy to get a visa and just go back and see dear old mom and dad. And so Egamonye made the choice several years ago to come to the States to get his education, and he has done just that. Earned his management degree last spring and is working towards his MBA right now. Also should mention, when he came to the United States, he began his college career at Northeastern and played just 4 games there before transferring to Niagara. The run now 11 straight points for Niagara. Ringgold double team. Thompson tries to break that string, and he does.
And it breaks a string of 5 consecutive misses on the offensive end. And there were some quick shots at times, Doug. Your best transition defense is good offense. Make shots, it's a lot easier to get back and not allow Niagara to get out and run.
There goes Bilal Ben, back out to Lewis. Again, he left his feet with nowhere to go and turns it back over to the Bronx.
And credit Ringgold for coming out to challenge defensively. His activities not just on the offensive end, it really starts with his defense.
Traveling violation, Ryan Thompson. By the way, Bilal Ben is just about at a double-double in the first half. 10 rebounds, 9 points. Coming up at halftime, we'll have an interview with Coach Joe Mihalik and also Coach Fran McCaffrey as we talk coaches versus cancer and how that disease has impacted both of their personal lives. We'll also have a first half look at our highlights and statistics here from the Times Union Center in Albany. Egamonye against the double team goes down to the floor, and in unison, Pat Driscoll and Mike Kitts, a traveling violation.
Tommy Dempsey talked earlier today about making sure they run those doubles at Egamonye. He had a very good game in their win. He was dominant with 20 points in the game up at Niagara. He said, we want to try and make him a passer. Don't allow him to abuse us inside in the post.
Tommy Dempsey calls a timeout. He was last year's MAAC Coach of the Year as he and his Bronx shared the regular season championship with Siena as they were led by their NBA-bound star Jason Thompson. If you can't make it here to Albany to see the MAAC championship game in person, you can watch it Monday night, 9 Eastern, ESPN2. That's tomorrow. Siena against the winner of this game between Ryder and Niagara. Tomorrow night, 9 Eastern on the Deuce. And right now, you really can't handicap it. 36-33. Both teams have had bursts of momentum back and forth, but neither team has been able to separate it all from the other.
Early on, it was more energy than execution. Both teams struggling offensively. Now we've started to get ourselves in a little bit of a rhythm.
Ryder down 3 with the basketball. Ryan Thompson with 8 points directs traffic. Harris Mansell again with that tough matchup with Tyrone Lewis, the defensive player of the year in the conference, all over him.
And Lewis has shut him down. Mansell has not scored. That was his first good look. The only problem was it was about 5-6 seconds after the whistle.
Well, Rob, you've been on the floor before, matched up with somebody who you knew was faster than you, who you knew was quicker than you. If you're Harris Mansell, what do? You know you're not going to drive past Tyrone Lewis.
Well, step it out. Get yourself a little extra separation. But what you got to do is move without the basketball. That's exactly what he did as he took the ball screen handoff and got himself that separation.
Egamonye took that pass off the chest, able to get it out to Nelson, who had a wide open look. Ben, another offensive rebound. And a final shot can be had by the Purple Eagles with the shot clock turned off.
Another extra opportunity because they have just gotten after it on the offensive board.
Bob Garrison trying to wipe some perspiration off the basketball, and since he's not being defended, able to clean things up.
How about Bilal Ben? That was his 8th offensive rebound. Talk about competing and bringing some energy.
And now the league's leading rebounder will trigger the offense. Nelson with 4 seconds to get it away. He does. It doesn't go. And that'll do it for the first half. Egamonye and Ryan Thompson wind up bumping a little bit as they head into the locker rooms. Very quietly, Justin Robinson leading the way for the Ryder Bronx. 11 points on 3 of 7 shooting. Our halftime score. We are tied at 36, and we'll be right back after this with a MAAC halftime report.
At Fairfield University, we explore big questions, complicated ideas, and unlimited possibilities.
In a community of learners representing diverse beliefs, opinions, and experiences.
Actively engaged in a caring, supportive, and fun community.
Our education prepares us to be thoughtful, global citizens, serving the common good.
At Fairfield University, you will get an inspiring education.
For an inspired life.
You are lucky. There is more life in front of you than there is behind you. Make the most of it. Find a cure. Lead a company. Teach children to read. Shoot the 3. Matter. Iona College. Earn a degree that matters.
All tied up as we take a look at our Star Watch update. Ryan Thompson had the better of it, especially when you consider Tyrone Lewis just 1 of 7 from the field.
Competitive from the start. Each team had runs. 1 of 7 points, the other of 9 points. Robinson was the lead scorer going into the locker room, and he comes out with the first 2 points here in the second half.
Using his quickness to get by people and put pressure on the defense.
13 for the sophomore from London, England, who played his prep school ball in New Jersey at Blair Academy. Benson Egamonye spins around Jackson, who had 4 block shots in the first half, but he wasn't going to block that one. He picks up the foul and a chance for a 3-point play. And here's a look at the FYE first half stats.
Yeah, both teams struggled to shoot the basketball. Both teams under 40%, but they certainly brought the energy. All you have to do is look at those offensive rebounds from both teams. A lot of misses, a lot of opportunities for offensive boards.
No question. That foul on Jackson, his 3rd. Egamonye with 3 points out of the deal. Niagara back on top, 39-38. Jackson stays in the ball game, sets the high ball screens on Garrison.
Notice Ryder initiating their offense a lot more today with the ball in Robinson's hand than necessarily Thompson's hands.
Strong finish by Jackson. And we seesaw a bit here. Ryder back on top.
Seems like in transition they find Ryan Thompson to lead the break, but when they're in the half court, it looks as if Robinson's the guy that's running the point.
Garrison answering back with a 3. The Purple Eagles take the lead again. Garrison had just the 2 points in the first half that we saw in the halftime highlights. That's his first perimeter shot that he's gotten to fall. Ringgold off the mark. Ben with another rebound. Nelson has to go behind his back to avoid Robinson. Still with the dribble. Nice defense by Jackson to take the entry pass away.
And remember, he's being aggressive despite the fact he's got the 3 fouls.
Here is Ryan Thompson. Likes the matchup he's got. Goes right to the basket. Gets it back, and that one's easy.
Oh, a quick jump to get off the floor. One of the things NBA scouts really like about Ryan Thompson's game.
Double figures now for the junior point guard. Ben blocked by Jackson. That's another rejection, number 5 for him. Robinson. The tip. Good. Ringgold. Got it just as it fell back off the cylinder. Got a finger on it and got 2 points.
And how many times does he just get a finger on it? Right place at the right time. That's not by luck. That's by energy and effort.
And like you say, a basketball IQ and an innate feel for where the ball's going.
He really understands the game. Joe Mihalik still saying, no, that ball was in the cylinder. He thought it was offensive goaltending.
Looked good to me. Lewis from the baseline has it rattle out. Egamonye with the putback, and Jackson playing with the 3 fouls seemed to kind of let him go back up for it. Egamonye now with 9 points, and we're tied again, 44-44. Justin Robinson misses. Long rebound out to Anthony Nelson. He's got a step on Robinson right to the bucket for 2.
And hard to get a step on Robinson. That was just speed on speed.
Just got him turned sideways, and once he got that step, he could finish. Here goes Ringgold on Ben. Jackson from 15.
And that's not his role necessarily.
Lewis splits the defense. Went to elevate and couldn't get off the ground. Egamonye hustling, and he will go back to the line.
How about the 6th block by Jackson? We were talking about being a young, live body. Jermaine Jackson has certainly given them terrific effort and presence on the defensive end. Took that jump shot along the baseline. Maybe not what you're necessarily looking for. But at times you got to reward the guy for all that effort he's given you on the defensive end.
Absolutely.
And allow him to get a couple looks offensively.
Absolutely. Egamonye makes the first.
Niagara wants to push the pace, especially when Anthony Nelson has the basketball. We said Robinson ultra quick in the open floor as well, but he got by him, turned him, and was able to finish.
And on that last break, it was unusual to see Tyrone Lewis plant and look like he's going to explode to the rim and not be able to get off the floor. He's too young to have that happen.
Sometimes you misstep because Once he plants, he can go up and finish over top everybody. He has some thunderous dunks out in the open floor.
And if you're sleeping on him, he'll dunk right on your head. Egamonye out of the ballgame after the free throws. Kashif Edwards comes back in for the Purple Eagles. 16-10 to go in regulation. A 4-point Niagara lead. Ryder trying to cut back into it. Can't do it there. Foul on the rebound against the Bronx.
Yeah, good call. Ryan Thompson with his hands in the back. Thought he was going to get away with it. John Cal right on top of the play.
Well, when somebody jumps up and all of a sudden they're going horizontally, chances are you got to help. There you see 10 ties, 9 lead changes in the back and forth game. We have not had much separation either way. Ryder's biggest lead was 5. Niagara's biggest lead 6. Edwards double team. And there's the step in on the passing lane. Numbers with Ringgold trailing. Give it back to Robinson, and he lays it in.
Oh, great unselfish play. That's why you put it ahead. Somebody's ahead of you, put the basketball to him. Ringgold able to deliver it right back.
Robinson now with 15 to lead Ryder. And to once again make it a 2-point game. Lob to Edwards. Garrison unwisely throwing that pass.
Yeah, not a good decision.
Gadsden gathers, and a whistle. And a traveling violation against Ryder's freshman. 48-46 is our score. Niagara with the lead in spite of Mike Ringgold playing setup man for Robinson. Welcome back to the Citizens Bank MAAC Championships presented by Pepsi Max. And let's take a look at our FYE flashback going 2 years ago. Niagara against Siena for the MAAC title. And Tyrone Lewis, a freshman at the time, wins tournament MVP.
First time in MAAC history and the only time in MAAC history that a freshman was able to win it. Sharon Fisher, his size and strength inside. On to miss in a tight ball game. Niagara able to come up with the rebound and walk away with the hardware.
And we could have that same matchup tomorrow night in the championship game. Siena is already in the finals. And Joe Mihalik's club trying to win this semifinal right now in a 2-point ball game with Ryder. And by the way, the numbers for Tyrone Lewis as a freshman in that tournament played in Bridgeport. In the quarterfinals, he scored 12 points. In the semifinals, he scored 23 points. And in the finals, the game you just saw against Siena, Lewis scored 24. Ben has his shot blocked by Ringgold. Egamonye misses as Ringgold was all over him again.
And every time Ryder goes to their zone defense, it seems that on a miss, Niagara's able to come up with an offensive rebound.
Here goes Ringgold. Up and under, but he missed the layup. Now Egamonye getting after the ball. And a traveling violation. Mike Kitt says possession had been garnered. And so on the fall to the floor, a travel was called. So Egamonye, they say, had possession, and he turns it over back to Ryder.
Joe Mihalik not happy with that call. Wasn't happy with the non-call at the other end as well. He thought Egamonye got hit.
Patrick Mansell has come into the ball game for Ryder. Out there with Robinson, Gadsden, Thompson, and Ringgold. Mansell rejected. Ben saves it off the top of his head and out of bounds. A big play for the Purple Eagles.
Well, if Tyrone Lewis wasn't the defensive player of the year in the MAAC, it probably would have been Bilal Ben. Look at that. Block shot coming with his left hand. And if you're going to block shots, Doug, that's so important. Most guys will come and try and block it with the right, swing across to a right-handed shooter and get contact. Instead, he comes with his left and comes up with the block.
Well, clearly the scouting report for Niagara defensively, close out on both Mansells. We have seen each brother, Harris and Patrick, have 3-point shots blocked, and not just tip block, full hand block. Niagara by 2 with the ball. There's that burst. Lewis, though, can't finish. Mansell with a rebound.
And he hasn't been able to finish now, just 1 of 10 from the floor.
This game becoming much more physical here in the second half. Thompson going strong to the basket, and Rob Garrison, the former UConn Husky, is called for his second personal. So Garrison will go out with that second foul. Demetrius Williamson, a little more size, checks in for Niagara. Ryan Thompson into traffic. A lot of time spent in the lane, and we do get the 3-second violation. Jackson came into the paint, was indecisive, couldn't find anywhere to go with the ball, and so they turn it over. Turnover number 6 for Tommy Dempsey's club. Lob inside. Nice catch. Agamonier. Foul on Jackson. And that is his 4th. Only the 4th against Ryder here in the second half. Non-shooting foul, but that will prompt Jackson to be taken out of the ball game.
A nice set play as they run Williamson along the baseline. You have to worry about him, and it allows Agamonier to screen and shape up.
Tyrone Lewis finds the range there. Nothing but net.
And he's got that shooter's mentality. Doesn't matter if he's 1 for 10. He's going to let it fly.
As he should. Now 8 points, halfway to his season average of 16-2. Back earlier in the season, he won the MVP award at the 2008 Philly Hoop Group Classic at the Palestra. Right there, he's called for the foul and allows Thompson a chance for 4.
Oh, he saw Lewis go out and block a 3-point shot attempt. This time, he gets contact. Good ball reversal, and Ryan steps right into it. And clearly, you see the contact. Tyrone Lewis was talking to Pat Driscoll after that call. I'm not sure why. That was an easy one.
Well, our 2 Star Watch performers hitting back-to-back 3s, stepping up in crunch time here with 12:34 on the clock.
When Niagara won at home, it was a big 4-point play late in the ball game by Rob Garrison that allowed Niagara to stretch away late in that ball game. Let's see if this 4-point play gives Ryder some life.
Agamonier driving on Gadsden. Whistle and a foul on the penetration.
Well, we said it's starting to become physical. Late closeout, contact. Nice stroke once again from Ryan Thompson. His versatility, one of the things that the NBA scouts love. I was talking to a couple of the NBA guys who are here for the weekend, and is certainly impressed by his 30-point performance last night, especially how he was able to slide by in the open floor and really have his way with the basketball in his hands, because that's what he's going to have to do at the next level.
Well, he's certainly enjoying himself against Niagara better than the last time he saw them. He was suffering from shingles when Ryder made its annual Western New York trip, and the Bronx got swept by Canisius and Niagara. But clearly, in the tournament so far, Ryan Thompson has felt A-OK. 30 points last night in that quarterfinal game that, as you say, certainly impressed the NBA scouts. He's up to 14 points so far tonight in the semifinals. And again, he's got the R on his jersey, R. Thompson, because he spent his first 2 years at Ryder playing with his big brother Jason, who had a J, presumably, on his uniform, and now he is with the Sacramento Kings. Camus Gordon, you saw check into the ball game.
He's with the Kings, but his jersey hanging on the wall back at the Bronx Zoo.
Yeah, one of the East Coast trips this year for the Sacramento Kings. When they came through and were playing the New Jersey Nets on an off day, they had a nice ceremony at the Bronx Zoo as they retired the number 1 for Jason Thompson. Lewis attacking the glass again, and Harris Mansell gets called for the foul. You can just see he should be a high jumper.
Yeah. And he certainly would clear anything you put up there. And at times he settles for threes. This is where next year, if he can get himself to the point where he slashes a little bit more, drives and gets into the lane, you can't contain him, especially when he's able to elevate over top of people.
And maybe he's not Nate Robinson. But, you know, for 5'10", to pack that kind of power into his frame and to be able to take it in traffic to the rim like that is a very special gift. Double figures for the former high school star at Harry S. Truman High. He is from Levittown, Pennsylvania. Just over 8 minutes gone here in the second half. Ringgold. No. Gadsden tips it out. But here comes Lewis with the hops on display, but he lost it on the way out.
Oh, starting to think about what he was going to do. He was worried about being Nate Robinson instead of just catching and finishing.
Joe Mihalik with a smile and a clap. He understands, well, that's the way it goes. So close, but yet so far away.
At St. Peter's College, success is a team effort. St. Peter's College, education one student at a time.
Citizens Bank MAAC Championships here in Albany, presented by Pepsi Max. Niagara with a 4-point lead over Ryder, and we were talking before that break, Rob, that a couple of months ago, Jason Thompson was back in Lawrenceville, New Jersey to have #1 unveiled and hung forever.
And there's the Jay you were talking about. Yep. Jay Thompson, because of his younger brother Ryan and all he's done as well. Don Harnum, the athletic director, and the guy that recruited him to play for him at Ryder, and he has certainly gotten more minutes and taken full advantage of those minutes for the Sacramento Kings. Remember, a lottery pick last year is the 12th selection of the Kings, and there's what guys love, his ability to put the ball to the floor. He's a guy that grew 6 inches late in life. There's his dad sitting. Notice his wife's not next to him. They sit on opposite sides. Saw him in the lobby bar last night, though. They work together, sitting on stools next to each other, just not during game time.
Well, certainly good to see. And another thing the NBA scouts like about both Jason and Ryan is that they are both character guys and good fits. And certainly that's been the case for Jason in Sacramento. Here's Ryan off the mark from 3. Rebound by Williamson for the Purple Eagles.
And guys who really work at their game and have expanded their game. For Jason, it was getting a perimeter game. For Ryan, it's learning how to play with the basketball in his hands, because he's going to have to be a point guard or at least a combo guard at the next level.
Do you imagine in a year and a half he might wind up being drafted?
I think there's a good chance. There are a number of NBA scouts that really like how he has come on as a player, and certainly they're going to be following his progress all next season.
Tyronn Lewis has his shot blocked out of bounds. There's some of the bullet points on Jason Thompson, over 2,000 in his college career, and number 12 overall drafted by the Kings.
And had one of his best performances here in this building last year in the MAAC semifinals when he tagged Maris for 32 and 18 rebounds to get them to the conference championship game.
Rob Garrison with his own rooting section from the other end of the state, in from Niagara Falls. He grew up in the shadows of Niagara University. His jumper gives Niagara its largest lead of the night at 7. Ben picks up his first foul. Now Garrison continues to play better, shoot better here in the second half. And he has been kind of the X factor here in the postseason so far.
What a great pass and a smart play again by Mike Ringgold. There's that basketball IQ showing itself.
And the recipient, Justin Robinson, now with 17.
And he's been the recipient of a couple nice feeds from Mike Ringgold.
Justin Robinson getting closer to his career high. He scored 20 in a non-league game against Drexel back in December. Here's Camus Gordon to the cutter. Ben, he muscles through the defense and lays it in.
Yeah, good call because he had to fight through that contact. First thing he had to do was make the catch. That was not an easy pass to come up with.
Robinson off the crossover. Right to the basket for two more.
Oh, he has certainly gotten himself into the lane pretty much at will off the bounce.
59-54. Niagara with a 5-point lead and possession of the basketball. 9:30 remaining in the second half. Gordon got sloppy with it. Ringgold took it away, and then the foul given up by Garrison to make sure that we didn't have a breakaway layup. Third personal foul on Rob Garrison. This is our second men's semifinals of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference Citizens Bank Championships. Along with Rob Kennedy, this is Doug Sherman as we watch the Bronx and the Purple Eagles fight for a spot in tomorrow night's championship game.
Trying to spread the floor, 4 out and 1 in. Ringgold's the guy in the post, but what it does is it allows driving lanes to put the ball to the floor and get into gaps.
Foul on the penetration against Niagara.
And there's that spacing. Put the ball to the floor, put some pressure on the defense. By doing that, Mansell will have an opportunity from the line. Nope, that's the 6th foul, so they'll take it inside out.
Ringgold guarded by Egamonye. Gadsden thought about pulling the trigger. Instead, he drives, and the foul called against Nelson. Well, certainly in that matchup, if you're Novar Gadsden, you'd think you'd want to attack Nelson. Second foul on Nelson, and the 7th against the Purple Eagles. And so Gadsden will shoot a 1-and-1.
He's got the ball skills to put it to the floor. And then once he does, he's got the size and that upper body strength. And he's got that scorer's body. Thick lower body to be able to post you up. And when he is able to go by people, also finishing with that left. Lefties many times hard to guard when they put it to the floor and get to the rim.
Gadsden now gives Ryder 2 more points from the line. As a team, they are 6 for 7. Niagara 15 for 17 from the foul line. Lob into Egamonye. Traveling violation. 11th turnover against Niagara.
And that's the same action that they've been able to dump it into him. He's the guy setting the screen along the baseline. He just turns and shapes up. They found him. But the double team came quick enough to force the 11th turnover for the Purple Eagles.
Timeout called Ryder as Ryan Thompson followed the instructions of his head coach Tommy Dempsey. We'll step away with the 8:27 left in regulation with a spot in the MAAC Finals on the line.
This is Siena, a college that builds competence and character, where you're part of a team, a place of academic rigor that builds leaders, offering opportunity and values that prepare you for change, leadership, and life. The tradition, the community of Siena, educating for success, one student at a time.
Welcome back to the Citizens Bank MAAC Championships presented by Pepsi Max. Doug Sherman, Rob Kennedy with you for the second semifinal. Ryder down 3 to Niagara. Ryan Thompson, first team All-MAAC, scratching his head trying to figure out how they're going to make up this 3-point difference over the last 8.5 minutes.
Well, they took the timeout because it's an important offensive possession. You got to figure that they're going to put the ball in Ryan Thompson's hands somewhere in the possession.
Robinson has been the high man for Ryder. He's got the ball now. Ringgold sets the screen. And here is Thompson with that ball.
Now he's got to put it to the floor. Once he had him in the air, you got to be aggressive.
Instead, he just fires up a long shot.
Yeah, he had a better opportunity earlier in the possession when he ball faked and got Nelson up in the air.
Nelson, quick burst. Kind of lulled the defense to sleep and then took off. And so he will shoot 2 when we come back. Under 8 minutes remaining. It's still a 3-point Niagara lead. Niagara 59, Ryder 56, late second half here in Albany, and let's take a look at the SiriusXM stats of the game.
When you look at the field goal percentage, Ryder at 37%. Keep in mind that Niagara's 15-1 when they hold their opponents under 40%. As we said, this is a different Niagara team, known in the last few years for their offense and ability to get up and down the floor. This is a team this year built on defense, and when you look at their defensive numbers, holding opponents to just 67 points and under 41% from the field. Those are substantially better than they had last year.
Well, we've got an unusual statistic for Niagara. They average over 10 steals per game so far tonight. They have just 1. They have not turned over Ryder at quite the rate that we are used to. Only 6 turnovers so far committed by the Bronx.
And Ryder's got multiple guys that can handle the basketball, including Ryan Thompson, who brings it up to trigger the offense.
Thompson, Robinson, Ringgold, Gadsden, and Mansell on the floor. Here is Robinson. Lost it on the bounce. Out of bounds, and they say Niagara basketball.
Notice they changed the defensive assignment. Tommy Dempsey looks like he's been trying to put the ball in Justin Robinson's hands here. He's been the hot hand, and why not? So they switch up, and that's who Tyrone Lewis is now guarding.
Yep, now that doesn't go as a steal, but it is a forced turnover on the nice defense. Agamonier no. Ringgold makes sure they don't get a second opportunity.
And here's where Ryan Thompson's got to be a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end. Make a play, not necessarily taking a shot, but making a play.
And there he does, penetrate and kick to Ringgold. The jump hook is no good. Ringgold tips again, and that one goes.
When you get better movement, even when you miss your initial shot, you have a better opportunity for an offensive putback. That time, Thompson was aggressive, where we didn't see it coming out of the timeout in the last possession.
14 for Ringgold to make it a 1-point ball game again. Nelson looking for his own shot, and he banked it home.
And he's looked for it tonight because he's been able to find it. Most of his baskets have been at the bucket.
Under 6.5 minutes remaining. We were tied at halftime, 36 apiece. The largest lead of the game was Niagara by 7 earlier here in the second half. Harris Mansell has been a non-factor. He misses, and Bilal Ben with another rebound. That's his 13th. Nelson again attacking into the paint, and a bump is called against Robinson. Eighth team foul on Ryder, and so a 1-and-1 for Anthony Nelson, who is a 73% foul shooter. This is a Niagara team that has won 14 games away from the Taft Gallagher Center, and that is the most in the NCAA. That includes road games and neutral site games, and Joe Mihalik's club has shown that it can take its act on the road.
And one of the reasons why their RPI is inside of 60. One of the reasons why they've got 25 wins already on the season.
Now Joe Mihalik is the second winningest coach in school history, and the only guy ahead of him has his name on the building in which they play, Taft Gallagher. Under 6 minutes now in regulation.
And there's been a clear advantage all game long for Niagara at the foul line, because they've gotten a lot of offensive rebounds and they've been able to get into the paint.
There's the defensive pressure making it tough on Ryder. 10 to shoot. Justin Robinson glances up at the shot clock. 5 seconds now to shoot. Nice double crossover and the pull-up, but it didn't go. Lewis the rebound.
He got a good look, even though it was late in the shot clock.
Niagara up 4. A bucket here might change the complexion. Ryder trying to come up with a big defensive stop. Bilal Ben isolated on Gadsden, gets around him. Gadsden recovers to make it a tough shot. Big defensive stand for the big rookie southpaw for the Bronx. Harris Mansell.
Tough shot.
The tip is good by Ryan Thompson.
Well, he does everything. That time getting himself to the offensive glass. That was a tough, quick shot by Mansell, a guy that can certainly knock down threes, but you got to find some good looks.
30 points last night, 16 so far tonight for Ryan Thompson. Nelson on the low post, gathers, and through the double team lays it in.
A great read moving without the basketball. Robinson was sitting on top of the screen, so what do? You're overplayed, you go back door. Wasn't a good feed, but it certainly was a smart play by Nelson.
And a terrific finish by Nelson, who now has 17 points and has the lead back up to 4.
How about Ryan Thompson? He's the guy that initiates offense, and then he finishes it at the offensive board. Talk about versatility. Here's that back door, even though it's a bad pass. Smart play, good movement without the basketball by Anthony Nelson. On that play, he's supposed to curl and come up top. Justin Robinson sitting on top of it, so instead take him to the screen and dive back door.
Tommy Dempsey's Rider Bronx made it to the MAAC title game a year ago, only to come up short against Siena. They would love to get a second opportunity tomorrow night. Ryan Thompson missed that game last year with injury. He would love to get back himself and be able to play in that ball game for a spot in the NCAA tournament. And there you see 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. Siena will take on either the Bronx or the Purple Eagles. To be decided over the next 4 minutes, 37 seconds.
And Mike Ringgold in the basketball game, and I talked to Joe Mihalik earlier today and asked him if they threw it to Ringgold late in the game, whether or not they would foul him. He said absolutely.
Well, here's that scenario. Agamonier does not commit the foul initially. Ringgold takes a bad shot, and Lewis rebounds.
But you saw how aggressive he was defending. So if you pick up the foul, fine, but be aggressive on it.
Agamonier has just one personal foul, so that's not an issue at all in that matchup.
Yep.
Niagara by 4 with the basketball. This is the number 2 seed in the tournament against the number 3 seed. Lewis can't buy the basket. Here comes Robinson out of the pack. He's got Ryan Thompson on the right wing. Drop it back, Harris Mansell. Patrick Mansell into the ball game for the Bronx.
And again, Thompson too content to get rid of the basketball. Game on the line now. Here's where he's got to step up and take over.
15 to shoot. Here comes Ringgold flashing out top. Harris Mansell. Deep. Nothing but net.
That is an absolute monster shot right there. They're struggling offensively. There's a senior who wants to continue his college career.
The 6'3" guard with his second three-pointer of the night. Third team All-MAAC as a junior. And one of the better outside shooters in the conference.
And took advantage of the fact that Lewis wasn't guarding him.
Bilal Ben forcing his way into the paint, but he missed the turnaround, and now Ryder has a chance to take the lead.
You got to give up the foul on Ringgold. 36% foul shooter, remember.
Here he goes to the bucket.
Can't allow that to happen. You've got to give up the foul, especially when Agamonier only had one foul.
Ryder's first lead since it was 44-42 early here in the second half.
And I can guarantee you at this timeout, Joe Mihalik's going to tell his team, anytime Mike Ringgold gets the basketball, foul him and get a handout on Harris Mansell.
5 quick points for the Bronx. Mansell and Ringgold give the Bronx the lead. The 2009 Citizens Bank MAAC Basketball Championships are brought to you by Pepsi Max, your world gone Max. FYE, strictly for your entertainment. Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the MAAC. New York Lottery, hey, you never know. Sirius XM, everything worth listening to is now on Sirius XM. and by the 2009 Citizens Bank MAAC Basketball Championships. Get your tickets now by calling 1-800-30-EVENT or by logging on to timesunion.com. MAAC Madness, the tradition continues. Back in Albany, 2.5 minutes remaining in a tight ball game for a spot in the MAAC Finals. Lewis puts up an air ball and Ryder with it on top by 1.
And not a good shot. Plenty of time. You got to be able to find a better shot than that, than the guarded jump shot. Tommy Dempsey calls timeout. You know why? To get Ringgold out of the ball game. That's a good use of the timeouts. They had 3 timeouts coming down the stretch. See Mike Ringgold, he'll step off. 36% foul shooter. Tommy Dempsey, we saw it last night, doing a great job with his offense and defensive substitutions coming down the stretch.
Now Ryan Thompson is your guy. How do you want to see him used on this possession and for the final 2:21, Rob?
To make plays. Not necessarily make shots, but to make plays. Put the ball to the floor, get himself into gaps, put some pressure on the defense. Tommy Dempsey earlier today said, hey, if we can get into the final couple minutes, that's all I'm hoping for. And then I want Ryan Thompson to be the guy that we're going to ride to take us into a championship game situation.
And if you're Joe Mihalik for Niagara, how do you keep that from happening?
With your defense, the same thing they've done all season long, as we've talked about it many a time. This is a Niagara team that has got 25 wins because they share the basketball, they've got some depth, but because they guard, here's where your defense has to step it up.
Ryder can't get it in, and there's the turnover.
I'll take the timeout instead of turning it over if you can't get it in. Niagara's defense up to the challenge.
Let's see what Tyrone Lewis can do. No, Ben fouled by Thompson as Bilal Ben once again crashes the offensive glass.
Oh, what happens when you get that dribble penetration, everybody starts following the basketball. You see the weak side defensive rotation, and by the time Thompson gets there, he's got a body on Bilal Ben.
Well, last night Lewis was 4 for 15 from the floor. Tonight so far 2 for 15.
But that's a much better shot than coming out of the timeout when it was a guarded deep shot. You turn the corner, you'll take your chances on that.
Ben misses the free throw, and he is a good foul shooter. Jump ball, Niagara possession.
And Gadsden pounded the basketball and then went, oops, I'm sorry, I didn't really want to do that. Look at Tyrone Lewis. He sees it's coming off. Great hustle. How smart is that play? And you saw the reaction from Gadsden as he pounded it. Then he turned to Mike Kitts and said, oh, I didn't mean to do that.
We've seen that a couple of times late in the season from Mr. Gadsden.
Yeah, at least he caught himself. Good job. He's maturing as a freshman. Big defensive possession for Ryder now.
Egamonye through the defense for 2 off the window.
And he was able to turn along the baseline to turn away from the double team that was on its way.
And Niagara back on top, 66-65. Siena awaits the winner of this semifinal tomorrow night.
And now you got to play through Ryan Thompson.
That they do. Foul before the shot. On Niagara, that's number 8. And so Ryan Thompson, who is a 78% foul shooter, will go to the line to shoot 1-1.
Joe Mihalik shaking his head. He knows that they're going to try and put it into his hands and allow him to make plays. And for Tommy Dempsey, Ryan Thompson with the ball in his hands, not only can he call his own number, but he's got the ability to find his teammates. Well short, though, on that one.
So now Niagara up a point, gets its instruction from Joe Mihalik.
A little too much confidence from Tommy Dempsey on that foul shot. Ryder, they didn't have anybody up on the foul line to get after it on the offensive glass.
The fans who've made the trip from Western New York to the Capital Region are on their feet, trying to urge the Purple Eagles through this semifinal.
Let's see if now Nelson can make a play.
His entry pass thwarted, but the foul on Gadsden, who had a hand on the hip of Egamonye.
The last 2 possessions, huge in the half court. Where have they gone? Inside Egamonye. Tommy Dempsey may want to think about another offensive-defensive substitution. Jermaine Jackson's really been active defensively. Has a career-high 6 blocks, and he'd done a real good job of keeping Benson Egamonye under wraps.
Meanwhile, Egamonye getting it done at the free throw line tonight, 6 for 7. He is 71% on the year. Up 1. He'll get another.
Remember on the last missed foul shot, Ryder didn't clear the defensive board because Tyrone Lewis, smart play and great hustle to get in.
But here where you do need to secure that rebound, you have to take Ringgold out because of the free throw shooting. And you bring in Patrick Mansell. Oh for 2. This time, the Bronx are fortunate to come up with it. Ryder hit 15 of its first 17 free throws, but Rob, since then, they have missed 6 of 7. Brian Thompson being proactive to the bucket, and the foul. He will shoot 2. When I said Ryder a moment ago, I meant Niagara with those free throws, having gone cold after the 2 misses by Egamonia.
Now this is the aggressive play that you like to see from Ryan Thompson. Turning the corner, putting his shoulder down, forced them to blow the whistle. Remember, he was well short on his last foul shot. Got to stay with it, get it over the front of the rim.
That he did. Terrific form to get the first.
And Dad exhales.
Well, he said in that interview we showed earlier, he listens to his dad. He knows his dad gives him good advice basketball-wise, and he calmly sinks a pair. Now Ringgold comes back in. Williamson comes back in for Niagara, replacing Egamonia.
And Egamonier's been the guy they've gone to the last couple of possessions in the half court.
Here's Lewis. He has struggled from the perimeter, and that continues as it goes up and over the backboard. Ryder gets it back with a 1-point lead.
Set play on the flare screen. Joe Mihalik going to his star. Lewis again settling, though. When you're not shooting the basketball, you got to make sure you put it to the floor and attack.
5-second difference between the shot and game clocks. Niagara down 1 will go for the initial steal, certainly.
And the way they guard, you can stay with it. Smart play by the senior Mansell. You can't inbound the basketball. You got to save the possession.
Timeout called by Ryder. And you can see it on Mike Ringgold's face that we are going down to the wire. If you don't come up with the steal initially, like you say, they defend and can turn you over at any point, but do you allow it to get down to 5 seconds if that's the way it works out?
Well, your team's been built around your defense all year long, but just 5 seconds at time, it's not enough time. So you've got to be aggressive. Don't give up the foul right away. See if you can't come up with something in the backcourt. They've got so many guys. It's not just the defensive quickness of Tyrone Lewis, Anthony Nelson, as well as Bilal Ben, all 3 guys in the top 7 in the MAAC in steals. Be aggressive, try to come up with the steal initially, and then if you can't, then you got to figure out whether or not you want to settle in and only leave yourself a few seconds to get something done on the offensive end.
Now those are the decisions being made by Joe Mihalik as he sends his team back out onto the floor, trailing by 1.
And especially down by 1, even if you do foul and they make both, it's still only a 1-possession game.
Inbound, and the immediate foul will send Harris Mansell to the free throw line, and he is nearly 80%.
And I don't like that because you don't allow yourself an opportunity to do what you do best, and that's come up with the steal. Your team's built around defense. You average over 10 steals per game, 3rd best in the country. Give yourself a chance to come up with the steal, and if not, then give up the foul.
Instead, a terrific foul shooter goes to the line shooting. He knocks the first down, and Mansell will get another. Shooters roll. 69-66. Less than a second went off the game clock on that last foul, so still here plenty of time for multiple possessions.
Absolutely, and you don't have to settle for a 3. You got to go find a good shot. Attack the rim.
Here goes Bilal Ben. Lewis can't get the 3 to go. Long rebound Nelson. Still no need to rush or panic. Garrison drives to the bucket. Open look Williamson. That would have tied it, but didn't. Out of bounds. And it's Niagara ball.
The last three you can live with. That's a good shot. That's an open three, but the first early one, that's just settling for three-point shots. Short on it was Williamson. Bodies flying everywhere. Good hustle. So you take a look at the reset. Possession arrows to Ryder. And that's a good open look from three. The early one was not necessarily a good one. And good call, Mike Kitts. As we said, this is a big-time officiating crew right on top of it with that kicked ball. So still here now, plenty of time. Joe Mihalik's team, they've got 2 timeouts left. They don't have to settle for the 3. If you can get a good look coming off your baseline out of bounds, fine. If not, get the quick 2.
Nelson into Agamonye, 20 seconds to go. Agamonye for the quick 2.
And I would have given up the foul there, much like you do on the other side. Put Agamonye back to the line.
You could read the lips of Joe Mihalik. He says perfect. Yep. He says perfect, so he gets what he wants, then the timeout, and now you set up again to defend. Shot clock off, you go for the steal, you don't get it, then you commit the foul.
And now if you don't get it initially, now you have to give up the quick foul. Not like when it was 40 seconds on the shot, on the game clock, where you could have given yourself an opportunity to allow him to advance the basketball.
How long can you be selective as a defender to pick out who you want to foul here?
Well, you got to be selective from the start, because what you do, good foul shooters, don't let them get the ball. All out denial on guys like Mansell and also Ryan Thompson. I wouldn't want him at the line. Remember, it's a double foul bonus, so any foul is a 2-shot foul for Ryder. Try to force the basketball into somebody else's hands.
Ganson is the poorest free throw shooter out of the bunch on the floor at 67%, although Patrick Mansell, while being perfect on the year, is only 5 for 5.
So those would be the 2 guys. If you're Joe Mihalik and you can dictate who you're going to put to the line, it would be one of those 2 guys.
18.7 on the clock. The baseball pass. Here goes Ganson on the breakaway.
Wow, great execution. Still a 1-possession game, though.
15 seconds in regulation. Lewis for the tie. He can't do it. Long rebound, Ben. 10 seconds. He fires away, no. Long rebound, Williamson. 5 seconds. And we've got a timeout called from the Niagara bench with 4.8 on the clock, and that may have saved them right there.
Yep.
Because that last 3 that was about to be fired didn't have a chance of going in.
Unlike Tubby Smith's timeout that took a 3 off the board in their game against Michigan, that time it worked out. Smart call by Joe Mihalik to now try and set it up. Now you can see Tommy Dempsey talking to his staff, and the question he's asking, do we give up the foul right now? If I'm the Ryder, at 4.8 seconds, I am giving up the foul. I don't want somebody knocking in a 3-point shot. You're in a timeout situation when you can clearly set up your defense and make sure that everybody's on board. Ball comes in, you got to give up the foul.
I agree wholeheartedly. Now, if you're Niagara, Tyrone Lewis is your guy, but he cannot find the range. Where are you looking first to try and get that 3-point shot?
Well, when you look at it from a percentage standpoint, you got guys like Garrison at 31%. Bilal Ben, I'll tell you what, he's at 32, 33%. He's a winner. He's a guy he's a tough guy. He's got the upper body strength. Whoever you're running off, knowing that they may give up the foul shot, you got to curl somebody right into a shot. It can't be where you're going to inbound the basketball, try and flare screen. You got to try and run somebody into a 3 so that if they give the foul, Doug, you may make it a foul on the shot attempt. Always a key late in the ball game. When you think somebody else is going to foul, it's got to be a catch-and-shoot 3 in this situation.
And here, I assume for Ryder, you defend the 3-point line. Don't worry about a 2-point bucket inside.
You'll take it right now at 4.8. Even if they score it, now all of a sudden it's 3 seconds on the clock. You take that. No 3s.
For a spot in the MAAC championship game tomorrow night.
Oh, they tried to give up the foul.
Lewis banks it in with 1.7 to go. We're tied at 71. Timeout, Ryder.
Ryder did exactly what you need to do. Mansell tried to give up the foul, and that's why you give it. And Tommy Dempsey was not happy because they were trying to give up the foul. This is always the discussion. Do you give up the foul or not? This is why you do. Look at Mansell. He's trying to grab him. He didn't get a piece, though. And I'm not sure he called glass, but he'll take it. Well, he reached. That's where you got to stay solid in front of him.
He missed him.
Yep, he missed him.
So John Cale had the call and got it right?
Yep, absolutely.
Before that, Tyrone Lewis was 2 for 18.
And the better call was that timeout from the bench by Joe MAAC to save the possession. As we said, every once in a while it backfires. It backfired yesterday for Minnesota and Tubby Smith when he took the timeout.
Yep.
Took a 3 off the board, but it worked out absolutely perfectly for Niagara. Now, hey, there's 1.7 seconds left. This ball game's not over. Ryder does not have a timeout. What you've got to do, throw the ball as far as you possibly can. Little Christian Laettner, he had under 2 seconds left. Advance the ball as far as you can. But what you got to do is make sure you don't throw it out of bounds. If nobody touches it, now all of a sudden it's Niagara baseline out of bounds.
Who do you want passing? Who do you want catching?
Well, I'm not sure who their best baseball passer is, but I would say it's probably Ryan Thompson. I know that if I'm Niagara, though, I want Benson Egamonye defending the inbounder. This is the same mistake that Rick Pitino made in that great game. They didn't have anybody guarding, and Christian Laettner got the open look.
1.7 to go, tied at 71. The heave at the buzzer, and we will head to overtime. Let's take another look at that crazy shot that Tyrone Lewis banked home to get us where we are right now, tied at 71.
As we said, I'm not sure he called glass on this one. Ryder did exactly what they wanted to. They switch out, they try to give up the foul, but he swipes and misses. And then Tyrone Lewis, he's their star player all season long. He certainly hasn't been able to find the range, but just in the nick of time, he banks it home.
And you know what? That also answers my question. In spite of the fact that he was 2 for 18 coming in, Joe MAAC still wanted to go to his guy.
Yep, ride your star. And every once in a while, you know, it's better to be lucky than good. Easy to spot. Hey, what was hard about that?
Easy as that. 5 more minutes put up on the board. 71 apiece here in our second semifinal of the 2009 Citizens Bank MAAC Basketball Championships. Siena is awaiting the winner tomorrow night in the 9 o'clock championship game. Siena head coach Fran McCaffrey has spent this entire ball game sitting just up over our left shoulder, sitting in the second row of seats here at center court, checking out this action. And who will he match wits with tomorrow? Tommy Dempsey and the Ryder Bronx, or the Niagara Purple Eagles?
And he knows they missed a golden opportunity right there.
And there is Coach McCaffrey chatting with Sean McDonough, who will call tomorrow night's game on ESPN2.
Well, early on, especially in those last couple of possessions, remember, it was the offensive rebounding of Niagara that kept the basketball alive. They were able to get too many possessions. Every once in a while, when you give them too many chances, they take advantage.
Mike Ringgold and Benson Egamonye at center court here at the Times Union Center in Albany to jump to start overtime. And it's Niagara with the ball first.
And when you're the team that has the dagger thrown at you, very important that you get off to a good start here in overtime. Ryder had this game in hand. Let it slip away. You got to come out and make some plays right from the get-go.
Kick ball on the entry pass. Niagara will keep possession. Nelson, the trigger man, with Garrison, Ben, Lewis, and Egamonye. Same starting 5. For Niagara, double team Egamonye. Down to the floor goes Gatson. He took an elbow to the face inadvertently. And now stoppage of play for Ryder. Gatson is up and checking things out. They had a tight double team on Egamonye, who was just trying to fight his way through it, and inadvertently caught Gatson somewhere around the mouth.
That was their game plan all game long, to double inside given the opportunity. As you said, they had the tight double team, and Ringgold able to come up with the clean strip.
Here's Ryan Thompson. Draws the contact, misses the shot. Ben with another rebound. That's number 16 for Bilal Ben. Egamonye strong. Can't get the roll, but he does. Was it tipped back in? Either way, it's basket Benson Egamonye and a 2-point Niagara lead.
Yeah, I don't think anybody got a piece of it, but boy, did he go strong to the 10.
4 minutes left in OT. Robinson kicks it back out. Here's Ryan Thompson. Off to Gadsden, guarded by Lewis.
Got to be careful you don't try to do too much.
The pass goes off the face of Egamonye. Out of bounds the other way, and Egamonye comes away holding his left eye. He took that pass square off the face.
That after Gadsden trying to do too much. He's a guy that's comfortable in the post, also facing up, but look right here, he's trying to break him down, make it a one-on-one game. Nothing happening.
73-71, Niagara with the lead in the basketball. Egamonye has it stripped by Ringgold. Why is the big fella holding the ball out 25 feet from the basket?
Well, for no good reason. And why is Gadsden crowding up and fouling? See right there saying, hey, not me. But yes, it was indeed Gadsden.
5th personal foul on Novar Gadsden right there. And he is done for the night. So with Gadsden out, if you're Tommy Dempsey, who do you look to on the bench in this situation, Rob?
I think he's going to end up going with Patrick Mansell. I'm surprised, though. Jermaine Jackson, just because of his length and his defensive activity, you're still in a defensive possession here coming up. Gadsden fouls out with the 8 points. Again, Tommy Dempsey's team, when somebody banks in a 3 like that, it just kind of rips your heart out. It's really important that you get some energy and some positive things going at the beginning of this overtime. That hasn't happened yet.
Anthony Nelson at the free throw line shooting 2. Niagara has won 11 of its last 12. They have 25 wins on the year. Now you see the numbers tonight for the sophomore point guard from Plainfield, New Jersey. Looks pretty good, knocking down both.
And now, just as it was at the end of the ball game when Ryder was down and needed to get themselves back into the lead, here's where their star, Ryan Thompson's got to make plays. He can't defer anymore. This is where he's got to take over.
Patrick Mansell, Ryan Thompson, Harris Mansell, Justin Robinson. Harris Mansell misses. Way up for the rebound, Lewis.
The last time they were down 4 late in that second half, he knocked down a huge deep 3, trying to go back to the well with that same exact shot.
Now, if you're Ryder, you've got to come up with a stop. Down 4 at 75-71.
And you've got to stop and finish. They got some stops at the end of regulation, but they didn't finish it off by rebounding the basketball.
The Villanova transfer, Bilal Ben, picks up the dribble, trying to find Egamonye. Rob Garrison with 5 to shoot. Loses his balance, and a traveling violation. Ryder basketball. 13th turnover in the ball game for Niagara. So a good defensive stand for Ryder. Ryan Thompson hands off to Robinson.
And you can see guys are winded, and why not? Not only physically tough in back-to-back games, but also mentally got to be tough when you get a dagger thrown at you like that bank shot.
Off of Niagara, Ryder keeps possession.
Right now, Ryan Thompson doesn't seem to have that same burst of speed that we saw earlier in the ball game.
Ringgold given plenty of room as always. Here's Harris Mansell again trying the 3. Short. Ringgold after it. Egamonye goes flying. And a foul called against Ryder. Ringgold gets the personal foul. His second. And so Egamonye will walk to the other end and head to the free throw line. On the long rebound, you see Ringgold make contact. Egamonye winds up falling out of bounds, and he'll shoot 2. Agamonier is 6 for 9, but he has missed his last 3 tonight. Make it his last 4.
And he did not shoot that one with much confidence. Let it fly and was backing up.
Again, he misses, but another offensive rebound for the league's leader. 17 rebounds, a career high for Bilal Ben, and he's been doing it at both ends.
And offensive rebounding has bailed them out time and time again, especially at the end of regulation. They were like a cat with 9 lives because they had all those extra opportunities because of the offensive boards.
And then with under 2 seconds remaining, Tyrone Lewis banked in a desperation 3 that brought us here to OT. Tough pass to handle. Quickness. Garrison comes up with it. With the shot clock at 2, he had to fire away, and Lewis gets another long offensive rebound.
And it just nicked the rim, so there was a shot clock reset. They've got time to take some time.
That's the 25th offensive rebound for the Purple Eagles, and the man at the 4 is Bilal Ben.
And here's where Ryder, they've got to settle down. They look dejected. They're still in the ball game. It's still only a 2-possession game if you can knock down a 3.
Ryan Thompson, no. Nobody on the offensive glass, and now Niagara can begin to feel it.
Yeah, they can feel it. They've got the energy. Ryder, they've got their heads down, their hands on their hips. That bank shot sucked the life out of them, and they were not able to turn it around with a quick start here to the overtime period.
They have yet to score here in overtime. It was 71 apiece at the point where Lewis hit the 3, and the Bronx still have not dented the scoreboard in the extra period.
And Doug, you see it so many times when you get that dagger to your heart. The most important thing is to come out and get something positive happening for you right off the bat. You miss a couple shots, they score. Now all of a sudden you just get dejected, and that's what's happened so far here in the overtime to Ryder.
Meanwhile, Niagara continues to leave the door ajar because of its difficulties at the free throw line. And that continues, so still just a 2-possession game with under a minute to go. Timeout, Ryder. So 4 straight misses here by Agamonier and then by Nelson. And so Tommy Dempsey's club still down just 6.
We talked about the fact that Ryder allowed too many extra opportunities for Niagara. Allowed them to be a cat with 9 lives. Well, Niagara returning the favor by not making foul shots. They had an opportunity to put this one away, but instead, Ryder still clinging to life.
Well, in case you just joined us, here is how we got to overtime. With time ticking away, Tyrone Lewis off the glass and in with under 2 seconds to go. Ryder tried to give up the foul, but a nice sidestep by Lewis before knocking in the shot, and Joe Mihalik was all smiles.
Both teams executed exactly what they wanted from both benches coming down that last possession, but every once in a while somebody just has to step up and make a play. Whether or not that was by design off the glass, but hey, they got themselves into that position because of some good jockeying from both benches.
It has been close throughout. We were tied at halftime 36 apiece. We were tied at the end of regulation 71 apiece. The largest lead of the ball game, Niagara by 7 in the second half. But beyond that, it has been one after another, back and forth. Neither team has been able to seize control. And here in OT, you figure, well, Niagara starting to feel good, and they missed the free throws again.
And I like the timeout by Tommy Dempsey, even though that's their last. Right now, they're on their last breath. They got to come out and figure out a way to score the basketball. They're 0 for 5 from the field. Still enough time. They don't necessarily need a 3. You can go get the quick 2, but what you do need is they've got to get a good shot.
Ryan Thompson with 18 points so far tonight. He scored 30 in last night's quarterfinal. First team All-MAAC guard, who you figure will be in the middle of whatever Ryder can come up with here. Mansell and Thompson in the backcourt with Robinson, younger brother Patrick Mansell, and Mike Ringgold trying to get their first points of overtime. Here's Ryan Thompson. A lot of contact, blocking foul called on Garrison.
And that was the set play, dribble drive, and instead of the handoff, able to turn the corner. Though he doesn't get to the rim, he gets himself to the foul line.
4th foul on Garrison.
And that was quick. Notice only a couple seconds off the clock. You get to the foul line. Easier to get up in your full court pressure if you make these 2 foul shots.
There you see the free throw numbers for Ryan Thompson. He has looked very good on his last 3 after missing a couple before that. Ryder finally on the board after more than 4 scoreless minutes here in overtime. And with that, they're back within 4.
And now they're up in the full court pressure. Got to try and see if they can't come up with a steal. If you don't get it in the backcourt, you got to give up the foul once they get to the front court.
Lewis with the ball, double team. Still has it. And a traveling violation.
And that's why you don't give up the foul right away. Give yourself an opportunity with your pressure defense to force the trap and force the turnover.
So Lewis turns it over. Ryder gets it back. And just moments after it looked like the Bronx might be dead in the water, they really have life.
And that's why I like the timeout that Tommy Dempsey took. And they're right back in it.
Off the inbound, lays it in. And what do you know, back to a 2-point game.
And now there's an 8-second differential between shot clock and game clock, so you don't necessarily have to give up the foul. But the way they've been shooting foul shots, take your chance.
Well, I don't think Patrick Mansell meant to give up that foul, but he did. And so now the shot clock is turned off. And Niagara will go back to the line.
Well, Niagara's kept them alive because they didn't make foul shots, and good execution the last 2 plays by Ryder. After that timeout by Tommy Dempsey, they were able to execute not once but twice.
Garrison gets the roll. One more makes it a 2-possession game. Four-point Niagara lead.
Still plenty of time, though. You got to go find a good shot. If it's a 3, fine. If not, get to the rim.
Ryan Thompson got to the rim and a chance for 3.
Oh, that is a big-time play by a big-time player. Ryder looked like they were dead and buried, much like Niagara looked like they were dead and buried at the end of overtime. The 2 stars, though, stepping up and making huge plays. Ryan Thompson, I tell you what, he went right at the rim, and clearly he got slapped, able to finish. Can't work out any better than that for the Ryder Bronx.
Personal foul on Bilal Ben. That is a chance now for Ryan Thompson to pull it back to a 1-point ball game. The Bronx have just Ringgold on the lane in case he misses.
Yeah, nobody on the right side. Remember, he missed one earlier on. That's that great confidence, though, now up in the full court pressure.
Ryan Thompson's dad watching from the stands here at the Times Union Center in Albany. The Bronx with 7 points in the last 28 seconds. Back to within 1. They've got the trap, and this time the foul is called on Harris Mansell.
And not the foul they were looking for right there. They had him trapped in the corner. Remember, last time they get a traveling call, nearly got the turnover. But still, not a bad play. Even if he hits both these foul shots, they find themselves then in the same situation that Niagara did late in the ball game, down 3.
Ryder has no timeout, says Bilal Ben. Toes the free throw line. On the year, as you see, 72%. The former Villanova Wildcat puts up the first. The Purple Eagles just cannot put the free throw down.
It was missed rebounding opportunities for Ryder that kept Niagara alive at the end of regulation. It's missed foul shots by Niagara that now has kept Ryder alive.
Ben gets the second 2-point game.
And here again, Ryan Thompson, the guy with the ball in his hands, he's got to make the play.
Here goes Ryan Thompson. He killed the dribble. Back out Harris Mansell. Smartly back to Ryan Thompson. To the rim. Tied again at 80.
Still plenty of time now. Here's where Tyrone Lewis had the heroics at the end of regulation. He's probably the guy they're going to go to, but we'll go to it after the timeout. All tied here again.
Well, we wondered who would be the guy if not Ryan Thompson. Well, we don't have to worry about that. He is the man here tonight late for the Bronx.
You and I were talking about it late in regulation. He was deferring, and then all of a sudden, just after a couple of possessions, he took over, and he has taken over here in overtime. And momentum was clearly riding White until all of a sudden Tommy Dempsey started riding Ryan Thompson.
With a minute to go in overtime, the Bronx were dead. Down 6, Niagara going to the free throw line. The Bronx call the timeout. They get a break with a couple of missed free throws, and then Thompson has taken over the Bronx after having not scored a point for the first 4 minutes of OT. 9-3 run the last 50 seconds.
And right back in it now. Here's where Niagara, plenty of time and plenty of options. You know it's going to Ryan Thompson on this end, but you've got a lot of guys that you can go to on the other end. Joe Mihalik called Tyrone Lewis's number the last time, and he answered. Let's see if he goes back to his junior star.
Lewis, Ben, Garrison, Agamonye, and Nelson, the starting 5, back on the floor for Niagara.
And let's see as well if Ryder gets up into full court pressure. Their press has been pretty good. You don't want to gamble and allow Niagara to get out on the run for an easy one.
And Jermaine Jackson is back into the ballgame to defend Agamonye.
Good stuff.
12.9 left in overtime. Bilal Ben gets it into Nelson. 10 seconds to go in OT.
And Ringgold's guarding Lewis.
Garrison back to Nelson. 5 seconds left. Lewis flashes for the ball, doesn't get it. The shot with 2 seconds to go is short. How about double overtime?
And they didn't get a good look because of the defense by Mike Ringgold. Ringgold was the guy on Tyrone Lewis. You see Joe Mihalik talking to him, say you got to keep moving without the basketball, but it was Ringgold's defense that kept it out of his hand.
Let's take another look and keep your eyes on Ringgold. He is number 2 in Cranberry, getting after number 2 in White.
And look at that face guard right there, hanging all over Tyrone Lewis. He's going to make sure that Lewis can't bank one in to get the win. Instead, shot clock winding down. Still enough time, though. You can't settle for the 3 there. Put it to the floor and go find a better shot. Joe Mihalik was laughing at the end of regulation. That's still a smile, but not quite with the same kind of positive feeling as he had with the nice little laugh at the end of regulation.
Well, after no nail biters the first couple of nights, we are in double overtime between Ryder and Niagara. The winner to advance to tomorrow night's championship game against Siena.
Well, we were lamenting the fact that we really hadn't had many exciting ball games throughout most of the tournament. Well, I guess we were just waiting to get ourselves a thriller.
36 apiece at halftime, 71 apiece at the end of regulation, 80 apiece as we head to double overtime.
And both teams had to summon the extra energy and summon great late-game execution to stay alive in this one. Niagara looked like they were dead and buried at the very end of regulation, and certainly Ryan Thompson and the Bronx, they were dead. They had no life. They were down 6. Nothing was going. Again, the timeout by Tommy Dempsey, I think, turned the tide as they were able to come out, execute. Thompson got to the foul line. They finally got themselves in the scoring column, and then they were able to make big plays late.
And all that aided by the fact that in overtime, Niagara missed 5 of 10 from the foul line.
Yeah, both teams aided the other. It was Ryder not rebounding the basketball on a couple of misses at the end of regulation, and missed foul shots by Niagara in overtime.
Novar Gadsden is fouled out. Jermaine Jackson on the floor to start the second overtime for Ryder. And it's the Bronx who gain possession to begin this extra session. Ryan Thompson picked up the dribble. Ringgold flashes out and now looks to give it back. Harris Mansell looking for the three-point shot. He's got it, but it is too strong. One and done at this end for Ryder. Another rebound for Bilal Ben.
I know one guy rooting for triple overtime. The guy sitting behind us, Fran McCaffrey.
You got that right.
These two teams out.
Relatively speaking, Siena has not expended that much energy to get to the finals. In the quarters, in the semis, they were in control both games. Not the case here tonight. Both Ryder and Niagara fighting tooth and nail as we head towards 50 minutes of basketball.
You got to figure both teams a little tired.
Lewis had it blocked. Agamonye, huge finish. 17 points for the 6'10 senior from Nigeria. Make it 20 points, and he gives the Purple Eagles the lead once again at 82-80. Robinson, no call. Put back, Ringgold, tied again. A couple of players slow to get up. Lewis and Robinson. They both seem to be okay. Play on.
Yep. Both teams, though, despite the fact they've got to be tired, it's been effort right from the get-go. All those offensive rebounds in the first half, and both teams able to score here in the double overtime on a couple putbacks.
Foul called on Jackson on the post entry. That is his 5th. So now both of the freshman bigs for Rider have been disqualified, which further makes it that much more difficult to defend Egamonye.
And certainly in a double overtime game, the team with the longer bench and the more depth, it's clearly to your advantage for 2 reasons. A, you've got maybe some fresher legs, and now you may need some extra bodies, as Rider now down 2 of those bigs with the, as you said, foul out not only of Gadsden, but now Jermaine Jackson joining his classmate.
So glad you could stay with us again for another late night of MAAC basketball. Our second semifinal in double overtime between the Rider Broncs and the Niagara Purple Eagles. Rider is the number 3 seed in this tournament. Niagara the number 2 seed. The winner will take on the number 1 seed Siena tomorrow night. With the foul out, Patrick Mansell will come back into the game. So the Mansell brothers are there with Ringgold, Ryan Thompson, and Robinson as Egamonye goes to the line. He has struggled in the extra period from the line, as most of the Purple Eagles have.
Well, he wasn't short, but still doesn't get it to go. As a coach, sometimes it's hard to watch those missed foul shots.
He had made his first 6, missed his next 6, and then gets that one to give Niagara a 1-point lead.
Now Bilal Ben with the defensive assignment on Thompson. See if his size bothers him. Doesn't matter who's guarding him right now. Ryan Thompson is in the zone.
Thompson with 27, putting Rider back on top. Foul on the drive to the basket. Strong move will get the Purple Eagles back to the free throw line as Ringgold picks up the personal.
Strong moves on both sides by 2 of the junior stars in this league.
Tyrone Lewis to shoot 2. He has struggled from the floor tonight. He was perfect before that one from the line. Now 4 for 5. (84-84). 2:45 left in double overtime.
Let's see if Niagara starts thinking about running a double and forcing the ball out of Thompson's hands. They've not been able to guard him straight on.
.15 on the shot clock.
See, I double off that high ball screen. There's the double to get it out.
Patrick Mansell with ice water in his veins.
Maybe that wasn't a good idea, huh? No, I think it's a smart idea to force it out of his hands and make somebody else beat you. Big shot by Mansell.
Bad shot by Tyrone Lewis at the other end. And the first points of the night for Patrick Mansell gives Rider the lead.
Remember, last year in the quarterfinals, Patrick Mansell hit the biggest shot of the tournament for Rider. He hit the 3 against Canisius to get them that win in the quarterfinals. That was a huge one there.
On the inbound, Bilal Ben lays it in.
We've seen execution by both these teams late out of their baseline, out of bounds, taking advantage of those specials. Pretty decent game for Bilal Ben, huh? and now he's got the defensive assignment on Thompson as well, as if he hasn't done enough already.
Well, he said when he transferred from Villanova, he wanted to impact the culture of this team, and that has been evident here this weekend. Big brother Harris Mansell can't follow little brother's lead. He misses the three. Rider still up one. Niagara with the basketball.
Big rebound by Egamonye, and he ran to get himself into the post. The big guy wants the basketball inside.
He's got Ryan Thompson defending the point guard of the Bronx, defending the center of the Purple Eagles. Ben with the turnaround, and he gets the roll. Niagara back in front by one.
Great patience to not shoot it quickly. Instead, he was a little off balance, kept his dribble alive until he got his legs underneath him.
1 minute left in double overtime. Mansell again, this time Patrick again. The tip, rims out. Ryan Thompson again fighting for it. Back out, another possession for the Bronx.
And it was Ryan Thompson doing everything. His hand on the basketball to keep it alive. Now the ball back in his hands.
Ben knocks it away. Tie up. Niagara basketball. So now 1.9 seconds between the game and shot clock as we take another look.
Here, this time the size of Bilal Ben did bother Thompson. Unable to get by him. Good hustle by Robinson to get in there, but possession arrow favors Niagara. Ryder's got to get up into full court pressure here now.
Rob, that was Ryder's first turnover in 15 minutes. But it comes at a costly time.
Now you got to get up in a full court pressure, try and come up with the steal. If you don't, you got to give up the foul. Here comes the trap.
They get it across the timeline. Ben, rather than attacking, pulls it back out.
Great decision. He thought about throwing it ahead to Egamonye. Instead, wisely brought it back out.
Now the shot clock is off once again. 25.3 at the line, and Joe Mihalik's club will again have to hit some free throws. Anthony Nelson, well below his 73% for the season. It's 7 for 12 so far tonight. Perfect form on that one. So we're looking at the similar situation that we saw earlier. Niagara with a chance to go up 3 with the shot clock off. Ryder will have an opportunity either way to either tie or take the lead. It's a 3-point ball game. Timeout, Ryder Bronx. Well, I think I know the answer to the question. Well, I'll ask that question when we come back. We'll take a break, catch our breath, and come back for the end of double overtime.
This is Siena, a college that builds competence and character, where you're part of a team, a place of academic rigor that builds leaders, offering opportunity and values that prepare you for change, leadership, and life. The tradition, the community of Siena, educating for success, one student at a time.
Siena coach Fran McCaffrey taking in this double overtime thriller. He will take.
He's rooting for 4 overtimes now.
Let's recap how we got to this point. End of regulation, Niagara down 3. Tyrone Lewis banks it in with under 2 seconds to go.
And it all started avoiding the foul and then getting it up. Reason for Joe Mihalik to smile. He wasn't smiling, though, when Ryan Thompson came up with this huge drive. Finished off the 3-point play, and this drive right here, one of the reasons why we're now into the double overtime. Missed foul shots by Niagara allowed Ryder to stay alive, and then Ryan Thompson carried us into this double OT.
Exactly. Ryder was scoreless through the first 4 minutes of the first overtime before they came to life, sparked by Thompson.
And so now you are about to ask, who do you go to? Well, you know they're going to Ryan Thompson to make a play. If all of a sudden the defense pinches, He would love to be able to kick it out to the likes of a Harris Mansell or even maybe Patrick Mansell for a good look from 3, but he's the guy to make the play.
Thompson still with a dribble, guarded by Ben. Kick it back out. Harris Mansell penetrates to the bucket to get the 2 to make it a 1-point ball game.
Take what they give you, and remember, Niagara's not been good at the foul line. Smart play. Give yourself a chance to come up with the steal. If you don't get it, give up the foul.
16.7 on the clock.
Oh, nearly.
Near steal. Patrick Mansell tries to sell his case that Garrison was the last to touch, but it is Niagara basketball. Nelson will inbound, and now Egamonye will check in and take the place of Demetrius Williamson. No double team. There it comes. Robinson. 10 seconds. Lewis up ahead. Egamonye. 8 seconds. And then the foul given at 7.4.
Took a little while to get it. Nearly didn't get it if Egamonye got rid of the basketball a little bit earlier. I like the fact that you give yourself a chance to come up with the turnover, but then it almost turned against them. Egamonye held on to it for about 1 second too late.
Well, Egamonye hit his first 6 tonight from the line. He is 1 for 7 since.
And remember, he was a late substitution by Joe Mihalik coming back into the game to break the pressure.
No problem on the first. Now if you're Niagara, do you foul? If you hit both? If not, do you let him shoot the 3?
We saw why you give up the foul, especially once you get inside of 5 seconds. You never know what's going to happen.
Ryder is out of timeout. 6 seconds left in double OT. Here comes Ryan Thompson down 2. 2 seconds. It's taken away by Bilal Ben. The defensive play of the night.
And you see the dejection from Ryan Thompson. He knows he had an opportunity. They were down by 2. He was trying to survey the situation, see what he had. Instead, he turned it over.
The team that is predicated on defense makes the big play on defense, and it's one of the big 2 defenders. Bilal Ben comes up with the steal with 1.6 left on the clock.
And that's exactly what Tommy Dempsey would have wanted. Down 2, the ball in Ryan Thompson's hands. But as we said, if Tyrone Lewis wasn't the defensive player of the year in the MAAC, it would have been the guy at the line, Bilal Ben.
Bilal Ben, our Pepsi Max player of the game, 19 points, 19 rebounds, and a chance to put it away with a free throw here. He's got it, up 4. Ryder is out of timeouts. Ben goes to the sideline. If you're Niagara, just stay away.
Yep.
The heave at the buzzer. And Niagara survives and advances in double overtime and will take on Siena for the MAAC championship tomorrow night.
Well, Niagara, for the first time in school history, had 2 guys on the MAAC first team, and both those guys saved the day. Tyrone Lewis with his bank shot to get us into overtime, and then Bilal Ben with the huge defensive play to come up with the steal and then finish it at the line. He was a very deserving player of the game. His double-double was not one of those with 10 and 11. He had a monster ball game.
Niagara wins its 26th game of the year at 26-7. You see the dejection on the face of Ryan Thompson. Tough way to lose, but a great effort by the Bronx.
A great effort and a gutty effort as well. They looked like they were dead and buried in overtime and found the energy to get themselves into the second overtime.
Once again, our final score in double overtime. Niagara 93, Ryder 89. You can catch the MAAC championship game Monday night, tomorrow night, ESPN2 at 9 o'clock. For more information on ESPN Plus, log on to ESPNplus.com. For Rob Kennedy and our entire crew, I'm Doug Sherman. The proceeding has been a presentation of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.